Hey guys, so in another video I talked about Batman's second Robin, Jason Todd, from the 1988 story Batman: A Death in the Family when I did my review on it. But since then, it just got me thinking, that version of Batman losing his Robin, that was a good story. Especially back then. That was DC's darkest hour. And it paved the way for every other incarnation of Jason Todd that we know, with him as Robin and eventually becoming the Red Hood. But there is another version of Jason's story that is much better, much more darker, much more sad, and much more chilling. I'm talking about Jason Todd's story in the Arkhamverse. Now, in my last video, I talked about how the Rocksteady's Batman Arkham Universe is the perfect adaptation of Batman and his world of enemies and allies. And one thing that makes it so cool is that they take stories that have already been told before, stories that die-hard fans know, like The Killing Joke, The Long Halloween, or Hush, and Rocksteady puts their spin on it. And honestly, I think it's a lot better than the original.
Now you belong to me.
I'll give you one chance to let him go.
Threats are meaningless to a man who has lost everything.
Now, most of Jason's story takes place in a mini-series of comics called Batman Arkham Knight Genesis 1 through 6, and obviously Batman Arkham Knight, the video game. Jason's parents were two drugged up, broke people who are constantly on the move. Jason's dad owed a debt to Alberto Falcone, which is, at the time, one of Gotham City's biggest crime lords. And for some reason, he thought he could settle his debt by trading Jason for it, giving his own son away. So just like in the 1988 story when Jason's mom betrayed him to save her skin, in this universe, his dad attempts to do the same thing. So, never having good parents, no matter what story you're telling. He never seems to have good parents. That didn't work though. Falcone did not accept that. Which, I mean, why would he? I mean, you have a debt to pay to one of the city's biggest crime lords, and for payment, you think he would want to take your kid? That's just stupid. Growing up, he was constantly verbally abused by his parents. They would say stuff like he was such a loser that they couldn't even give him away. And by the time he was 13, Falcone had one of his men kill both of them. I guess for that debt that they owed years ago. And I'm not really sure why he let him live that long, until Jason was 13. My guess is maybe he felt sorry for the kid. He didn't want to grow up without any parents. It wasn't no big deal though. I mean, Jason wasn't mourning them or nothing like that. By the time he was 15, he was the best runner in Gotham. He had 36 stores and no one could touch him. He lived alone, he worked alone, and there was almost nothing that he couldn't or didn't steal. Then, one night, fate landed in the alleyway. The Joker was in some sort of robot suit and knocked Batman unconscious in the same alley Jason was, where he was counting some money he stole. And he didn't know what had gotten into him, but he actually saved Bruce's life. He moved him out of the way, and he took a grapnel launcher off of Batman's utility belt and took down the Joker all by himself. When Batman wakes up, he thanks the kid for his help. Then, he has Jason and the Joker both arrested. He was busted for robbery, but he got out within the week. And thanks to some Wayne Foundation program giving hope for troubled teens, Jason was sent to a boarding school that was fully paid off as long as he stayed straight. He made straight A's, he did good in sports, he really turned his life around. Then one night, Batman came to him and offered him the Robin position, and that's how Jason Todd became Robin. Now, just like the 80s version of Jason Todd, this version over time, he became a snot. He didn't listen to Bruce, he disobeyed, he complained, and he was just a chore. But Bruce loved him. He loved him as much as he loved Dick Grayson. He loved him like he was his own son. In Batman Arkham VR, when you're inside Wayne Manor, if you pick up Martha Wayne's music box, underneath it is a picture of Bruce and Jason. And it's kind of emotional because of Jason's story, especially in this universe. It's very sad, and this picture with the words on the back that Jason left and the lullaby music is enough to make anyone tear up. Anyways, though, over the years, Batman and Robin worked together, although Jason felt more like an assistant than an actual partner. Then, one night in an abandoned chemical plant, Batman was once again fighting the Joker. He's in another dumb robot suit causing trouble, so Jason intervenes. He uses the Batmobile to crash into Joker in the robot suit. And so Joker gets out and he starts running, and Jason chases after him. Meanwhile, he's leading Robin into a trap, and Batman knows it's a trap, and he tries to warn Jason, but does Jason listen? Does Jason ever listen? No. He chases after Joker, and the place explodes. But that's not what kills Jason. That was just a diversion. While Robin gets distracted, Joker knocks him unconscious and kidnaps him. And here's where things take a dark turn. Joker takes Jason to Arkham Asylum. There's an abandoned empty wing he takes him to, and there he holds him prisoner. He beats him mentally and physically, and yes, he does beat him with the crowbar. And remember Officer Bowles, the security guard from Arkham Asylum, who it turns out was working for the Joker and helped him plan his escape?
That's Walden shop to you. Bowles!
Yo, Frankie, how's the wife and kids? You miss me?
Shut it, clown! A lot of people here really want to talk to you.
Really? We'll see. Ta-ta! Oh, I forgot to say. Just in case you were planning on following me, I've arranged a little insurance. Gordon is on his way to Harley as we speak.
Officer Bowles.
If I see you trying to follow me, he dies. Harley's looking forward to it. Maybe I'll film it and post it on the internet.
Well, it turns out that Bowles has been working for the Joker for years, even before the events of Arkham Asylum. He would let Joker out of his cell to go down to the abandoned wing where Jason was being held to mentally and physically abuse him. Like, Bowles is just horrible. And when I say that Joker messed this kid up, he really messed him up.
What do we have here, then? Wakey, wakey. What's wrong? You think I'm going to hurt you? Why? I'm not the bad one here. Oh, no. It's Batman. He's abandoned you, thrown you away like an unwanted puppy. Can I have him, Daddy? Oh, please. I'll take real good care of him. Anything to make you happy, Princess. Just make sure people know he's yours. We don't want him to end up back here, do we? No, we don't, Daddy. I want to keep him forever.
No, please, no!
This stuff was going on for over 2 years. Joker physically abusing him, mentally abusing him, and making him think that Bruce had abandoned him. And when Batman got his third Robin, Tim Drake, that didn't help things at all.
Batman? Is that you?
Batman's not coming to save you, Jason.
He'll come.
It's been 6 months now, Jason. I think it's time to face facts.
Screw you.
That's the spirit. You're a real chip off the old bat block. Not that it'll do you any good.
Why won't you just kill me?
What? Oh, no. I'm not going to kill you. Not yet, anyway. You're my sidekick now. Imagine it. You and me, out on the streets, starting fights, picking on the weak. A regular dynamic duo. Just like Bats and that new kid of his.
No, you wouldn't.
You think? So, this isn't Batman, then? Oh, weird. The pointy ears are usually a dead giveaway.
No.
I didn't want to show you that photo. Really, I didn't. But, well, it was the only way for you to get closure. Now, I know it hurts, but sometimes you gotta be cruel to be kind.
During Joker's tortures, he made a video for Batman where he seemingly killed Robin on screen. And this is why Bruce thought Jason was dead for all these years.
Have you got something to tell the nice man, Jason?
My name is Jason Todd.
Who do you hate?
Batman.
Excellent. Of course you do. Did you get that, Bats? Kid's not yours anymore. He's mine. Mine. To do with as I wish. Hey, I never asked. What's the big secret? Who is the big bad bat? His name. Tell me.
Of course, sir. It's...
Never could stand a tattletale. That's why I like to work alone. No one to spoil the punchline. You should try it sometime. After all, you've seen what happens when you drag your friends into this crazy little game of ours.
I talked about how I thought it was sad in Batman Arkham VR when Bruce Wayne looks at the picture of him and Jason. What makes this scene really sad is because Jason has been brainwashed by the Joker to think that Bruce didn't want him. He abandoned him, and Joker really filled him up with hate. That's not true. Bruce loved him like he was his own son. And that's what makes this picture really sad, because it's like, this is... The events of Arkham VR takes place years and years later after all that crap happened with Joker and Jason. But Bruce still thinks he was dead all this time. And he wasn't. All that time, Joker had him in the asylum, torturing him further, manipulating his mind, and just further making him think that Batman left him to die, that he wasn't coming for him.
Jason, this is wrong.
This is justice. He left me.
He lost you, and he mourned for you. Come home.
I can't go back. You don't know what Joker did, Barbara. He hollowed me out and filled me back up with hate and...
Jason, we can fix it.
I can fix it! I know now what to do. I take all this pain, all this blackness, and I put it all in a...
Joker would have his thugs dress up in bat costumes and beat Jason and beat him until he fought back. Now, spoiler alert, but Batman Arkham VR, all the events of that game is just a nightmare that Bruce Wayne is having. None of it actually happened. It's still a really good game, though, and creepy, but when Batman is in the asylum, you can actually hear Jason scream in that game, and it's really eerie. During Joker's Titan takeover at the asylum in the 2009 game, that's when Jason finally escaped. the really messed up part is, in Batman Arkham Asylum, we see Bruce go almost everywhere on the island. From the sewers, to maximum security, to old catacombs, to even his secret Batcave on the island. He covers almost everywhere on Arkham Island, but he never once went to the abandoned wing of Arkham where Jason was being held prisoner. Batman has made so many trips to the asylum over the years, and during the events of the video game, he probably spends more time there than he ever has before. But it's just an awful coincidence that he never went to where Jason was being held. And like I said, he didn't know Jason was still alive, so it's not like he was looking for him. But it's like a whole night at the asylum, and Jason still couldn't catch a break. Not until the end. Now, there's a lot more to the story, but you'll have to read it for yourself because this video has gone on long enough. If you want to know more about Jason and him eventually becoming the Arkham Knight, click the link in the description below and you can read the Arkham Knight Genesis comics part 1 through 6 online.